The characters in these preview videos have been provided temporarily on loan from Scopely, so you can have a look at these brand new NXT characters for the SummerSlam month-long contest on WWE Champions. We are NXT, and that's who we're going to see in this video. It's a long one. Hopefully you'll stick with it and hopefully you'll enjoy it. We're going to see 3 new characters. The first being Trickster, the Velveteen Dream. And then on to a Showboat version of Ricochet. He is a high flyer, but a crowd pleaser, so he is a Showboat in NXT. And the Striker, Alistair Black. These guys are all built identically, just with different color combinations and a slightly different special gem option, but hopefully you'll enjoy. And we're going to start it off with the one and only Ricochet. He has burst onto the scene in WWE, and he has burst into this game now. Like I said, he is a Showboat, and we're going to see first a build you can use right away at 3-star. So with the rolling lariat blue move and the 2 yellow moves, we're going to use NXT Seth and Dolph Ziggler as trainers to create blue gems and yellow gems. I'm running this with a no MP because I want as many of those gems as I can. It's going to be a turn or two slower. You can use Lawler, you can use Akam, and just not get as many of the other gems generated when you need them. So what these 3-star recycling builds do is the blue move makes yellows and the yellow moves make blues. It's that simple. The one caveat on these is that all of these moves are randoms. There are no choose moves involved with these characters as far as the gem generation goes. So it's all random, which is why I want as many of them as I can, and which is why I'm using NXT Seth and Dolph Ziggler. So we survive an early barrage from striker Baron Corbin, and now we've got our 2 yellow moves ready to go. First of all is this King's Landing. Makes 5 random gems into blue, but with NXT Seth it makes 9. Now we're going to use the blue move to hopefully refill that yellow, making 9 yellows. And now our finisher, the 630 Senton, beautiful move. It's going to make 9 random gems into blue. So we got a lot of blue and a lot of yellow going on. And what that's doing, without the MP trainer, with so many gems created, is once we get to that recycle, it keeps going. With the MP trainer, you can get to the recycle maybe faster, but because you don't have the gem generation trainers on there, you're not getting as many of those gems on the board in order to keep that recycle going and keep those moves filled. So now, again, turning black gems into yellows. And take this wild card. And now we've got our moves filled again for the next turn. The one thing you'll see that these 3 characters do is that the gems that they're turning into other colors, there are ones that are random, but the other gems that are being changed are colors that specific opponents are going to want, which is why I'm fighting Baron Corbin here, because the yellow and the blue ones that change gems are changing black gems and green gems. So we're taking those gems away from him while creating gems for ourselves. And we finish Baron Corbin off. So that's the 3-star build. We'll go against Baron Corbin again. This is with his 4-star setup. So this is replacing the King's Landing yellow move with the blue move you get at 4 stars, which is this shooting star press, and it changes random gems into yellow. So it's not color specific. So this time we want to get to those blue moves together quickly. So we've got Jerry Lawler on there. And now on turn 2, that's a nice cascade. We've got our blue moves filled. We were just fortunate to get the yellow move filled as well. So we saw a recycling build at 3-star. Now we're seeing a recycling build at 4-star. The one move set you're not going to see with Ricochet is with a 2-charge purple move, the super kick, which makes power gems into protect gems. I told you they each had a special gem. Change one special gem into another. The reason you're not going to see it is because on the road, there's no singles matches against power gem guys. There's no Stings in singles matches. There's no Steamboats. There's no nobody. So perhaps another one of the Scopely content creators will show you that build. But that's a pretty effective 4-star win against Baron Corbin. And we're going to move on to our second character, the Velveteen Dream. This guy's one of my favorites. I can't believe how young he is and how already polished he is in this business. He is a trickster. So again, very similar to Ricochet, but instead of yellows and blues, he's working with reds and purples. But the first build we're going to see is his special gem build. So this is one, he's a trap gem guy, and what he does is he changes protect gems into trap gems. So we're going to go against Yokozuna, who is a protect gem superstar. We're going to lay our trap gems. We've got Bray Wyatt and Jinder Mahal training for this particular spec. So we have a trap gem move of our own that we don't need protect gems for, where we can just lay our own. That's the neck breaker. We're going to make 8 gems into trap gems. Now when we destroy them ourselves, it steals health. Over 5k per gem health steal. We're going to wait for the other trap gem move because we need him to put protect gems onto the board first, because then we can change his protect gems into trap gems for ourselves. It sounds complicated, but if you're familiar with trap gems, you'll know the process here. If you break them, they do one thing. If your opponent breaks them, they do another thing. So in this case, if your opponent breaks them, they just do damage. But if you break them, they steal health. So he's got his protect gem move loaded. So we're going to lay out some more of our own traps, saving that second black move, the super kick, to wait for him to put protect gems on the board. I guess he had protect gems on the board from his sub, so we could have used it there, but hey, that's learning a new character. Part of the ins and outs of getting these characters and trying to become an expert in them as quickly as you can. It's not easy. You got to learn the ins and outs. But now he's got his protect gems on the board, so we can use our super kick and we change those into trap gems. With Jinder Mahal, we're changing 9 of them. And then our purple Rainmaker elbow finisher changes gems into red. That's the one drawback of using this double black move setup with the trap gems, is that there's no move that creates more blacks. So you really need to load them yourself. Having Elias on as an extra gem coach will help. But you can see we're getting these moves off fairly regularly, even without a move that generates them. Because his design with that finisher is for his recycling build, which is reds and purples. We'll see that build in a second. We've still got a couple of more minutes to be able to deal with Yokozuna here. The training ability of these three NXT superstars are that they add damage to specific color moves. 2 moves apiece. So Velveteen Dream, sounds like a mouthwash. Velveteen Dream gives green and yellow gems extra damage. Alistair Black, who we're going to see in a bit, has the same thing. He gives extra damage for purple gems and blue gems. And Ricochet to black and red gems. So these 3 characters were all built identically, just changing the colors. In a month-long event like this where you're going to be using them so often, it's probably a benefit that that's the case, just because once you learn how to use one guy, you're going to know how to use the other guys, because they're the same. This build, like I said, that we're showing is specifically, sounds like I've got peanuts in my mouth or something, specifically against Protect Gem guys. You're not going to use this at any other time. And our Purple Rainmaker finishes off Yokozuna. So that's the special gem build out of the way. We're now going to get into the same recycling combination that I showed you with Ricochet. This first one is available at 3 stars. These are all 3-star moves right away. It is the 1 red, the Dream Valley Driver, and the 2 purple moves. Like we saw with Ricochet, one color creates the other color. So the red creates purples, the purples create reds. So the Dream Valley Driver changes yellow gems into purples. So if you can go against Showboats with this moveset, that takes away their yellow gems. It's offense and defense at the same time. You're loading your moves and taking moves away from your opponent. I wish I had Bobby Roode. Every time I do one of these videos and I play against Bobby Roode, he's just a monster. I am gathering shards, shall we say, slowly. So he's going to get his moves off. So we're already down to about 124k. He's still got well over 250k health left. We're going to need a comeback here. So let's see how this recycling build works. There's the Dream Valley Driver. That's going to turn yellows into purples. There was only one, but thank goodness it made a match. So now this first purple move, the twisting springboard forearm smash, changes blue gems into reds. We'll do it again just for the damage because there's no blues out there. And now our finisher, which we've seen a couple of times, the Purple Rainmaker, that changes randoms into reds. And our red move is reloaded because we had 9. So we're running this spec like we did with Ricochet when we ran NXT Seth and Dolph Ziggler for his yellows and blues. We're running this one with Daniel Bryan and Big John Studd, who are the purple and red generation trainers. This is going to get repetitive, but as I mentioned with Ricochet, you could run Woods, you could run Sting to get to these moves quicker, but you're going to have less gems of those colors put onto the board because you don't have the extra gem generation guys in place of an MP. So I'm choosing to run them with no MP trainers. Not a popular opinion among a lot of people, but I want as many of these colors on the board, and I want to take away as many of my opponent's colors off the board as I can every time I run these moves. So they're going to be slow to get to off the start if you get a bad board, but once you get them going, the recycle should be really nice. We were a little short on the pin there, which is going to allow the glorious one to choose a whole whack of yellows again on us. Once we kick out, our red move is full. Hopefully there's going to be a lot of yellows on the board that we can turn into purples. We got a whole bunch of them, so we can change as many as 9. It looks like there's 6 or 7 out there. Those are all going to become purples. And now we're going to finish off Bobby Roode. So they're great looking characters visually. The Dream looks great, as Ricochet did. And these recycling builds, once you get to them, really keep the moves coming. So as we did with Ricochet, we're going to move from the 3-star recycling build to the 4-star. Same thing, swapping out a purple for a red. Just as with Ricochet, we swapped out a yellow for a blue. And this time we're going to use an MP trainer to get to those red moves quicker. Because we have 2 moves generating purples, we can forego Daniel Bryan, and we're running Sting and Big John Studd here with this setup. So these 2 red moves that change into purples, instead of generating 9, they're generating 5. But we do have 2 of the moves going that generate 5 each. So we're putting 10 purple gems onto the board with these 2 moves, and it is enough to get our purple finisher filled. And because we have Big John Studd on this one, we're making 9 back into red. And you can see with the random placement there, sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. Not only did we not get a cascade when we made those red matches, we didn't even get a match. So random is our least favorite word in WWE Champions. We love the word choose. We do not love the word random. 9 randoms is better than less, but random is random. Things are not always in your control. You need to get some board luck. And that's what we're seeing here as we move through these NXT characters. Bobby Roode looking like an absolute superstar again. We've got our purple Rainmaker loaded again. We're keeping red gems on the board if we can to try and link up with our finisher here, which is going to generate 9 more. And hopefully we get a better cascade than we did the first time. We do. 53k damage, and we filled both of our red moves. We got no yellows to make into purples, which is rare against Bobby Roode because there's usually yellows on the board. But but we get it for the damage, and now we make 9 more. Filled the finisher again. So the recycle is working here. It's just a matter of going through it a couple of times. I started with Ricochet and Velveteen Dream with these recycle builds because while they are effective, because they are Showboats and Tricksters, they don't do the big gem damage when these moves hit. So I saved the hardest hitter for last. We've seen Ricochet, we've seen the Velveteen Dream, and now we're going to move on to our NXT striker, Alistair Black. He is built identically to these two characters, just with different colors. The advantage to the striker while he has lower health is his gem damage is way higher. And the first thing we're going to see is his 3-star moveset that you can use right away once you acquire him. And like I did with the other guys, running the extra gem coaches and the gem generation trainers. So Alistair Black works with blacks and greens, so that means it's Titus O'Neil and Rizar from the Authors of Pain. Looking for blacks or greens on our early matches in this game to get those loaded. They've done a tremendous job, as I said, with the other two guys, with the looks of these characters. The tattoos, the costumes, they just look terrific. So Jinder does his thing. We get our match. So now our gem generation moves are full and our recycle can begin. So first we're going to make 9 random purples into blacks. Both black moves are full. We use the Shining Wizard to change red gems into black. Again, you'll see what we did. We took away purples with the first move and reds with the second move. Those are the gems Jinder wanted. And because of that high gem damage, we get our pinfall. Let's see how this spec does against a faster purple and red guy. Razor Ramon, same spec. We get a nice black match off the top with a wild card, so we can get our first black move, the Shining Wizard. We can get that off right away. Razor's got his submission move filled. We're going to do some more damage to him before we get there. With the leg sweep that changes purples into blacks. So we took away purple gems that he wants. The Shining Wizard again, which is going to change more gems that he wants, the reds, into green. And now our finisher, the Black Mass. Random gems back into greens to load that move again. So you see the recycle works the same way with Aleister, but the damage is so much more. In just a couple of times through those moves, we've got Razor way down to well under 100,000 HP. What having the extra gem coaches on to help with our recycle does is it means we did not put 6 on as a coach, which would have shortened this sub by a couple of turns. But we've got him in a position where we're not far off of winning this match now. So we can sit through a bit of a sub, not worry too much about it. One match and our green move is back loaded again. The leg sweep to make purples into blacks, and hopefully load one of those 2 black moves. We didn't get it loaded, but a good match here. That row break of blacks there. Big gem damage and finishes off Razor. So you can see the difference in how hard Alistair Black hits compared to Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. So now from the 3-star recycle to the 4-star recycle again. Well, actually, I'm going to show you his special move here. His special build. We're going to go against the Trap Gem guy in Jinder Mahal. And show you what this 2-charge yellow move does. The super kick. Every guy's 2-charge move is a super kick. And what this one does is it changes trap gems into power gems. And what power gems do, as you see with Sting and Steamboat and Carl Anderson and guys who use power gems, is as long as they're on the board, they drain damage from your opponent. This one changes trap gems, so we need to wait until Jinder gets his trap gems on the board in order to be able to use that. But in the meantime, we've got our black and green moves filled and ready to dole out some damage and recycle each other. Jinder's got 2 trap gem moves. Both reds are trap gems. So once he gets those off, we'll be able to get a couple of power gems on the board here and help with draining him down. In all fairness to Ricochet, Velveteen Dream, and Alistair Black, I'm not a big fan of any of their niche moves where you're changing an opponent's gems into a different kind of special gem. I'm just showing it to you here because it's there. I'm not going to be using it if I get Alistair Black. I'm always going to be using one of his recycle builds, especially with him because he hits so hard. So I just wanted to show you what he does here with this trap gem change. So Jinder's going to put a whole bunch of traps on the board. We've still got our yellow move waiting. We just haven't been able to have Jinder get these trap gems on the board yet. So now that he's done that, the moves he's made into traps, we're now making into power gems, which deal about 1900 damage as long as they remain on the board. So 5 of them out there, so that's about 10,000 damage per turn. And you can see Jinder's totally drained down. But just for the luxury of being able to do that, take trap gems away from him and make them into power gems, we've strayed away from our recycle, which is the attractiveness of these three characters. So we've taken a lot more damage, I think, than we would ever have wanted to. But it's an option if you're going to, because this move is a 2 charge, you always have it. So that if the trap gems do go out there, you're never going to be saying, boy, I wish I could trade those. You've got it there. It's only 2 charge. So we win against Jinder and his trap gems. But again, not my favorite build. We'll go back to the recycle to show you one final time what Alistair Black can do against the very same Jinder with his trap gems, but this time we're not worried about his trap gems. This time we're using George the Animal Steel, and we're using Rizar. So we want to get to these green moves quick to put 10 black gems onto the board, and then the black finisher to change back into green if we need it. So our greens are filled for the next turn. Jinder's going to hit his choose to reds. We'll take a bit of hurt. But our green moves are full now, and we're going to be putting 10 very valuable high damage black gems onto the board. The leg sweep first to change purples. And now the roundhouse kick to change random gems, 5 of them, into black. They're worth 5,500 apiece. We deal over 86k damage and fill our finisher. That's what we like to see. So we'll let Jinder put out his trap gems here. We're not worried about them now. We don't need to change them into power gems because we've got our finisher loaded. We've got him in range of being able to finish this match. The black mass. Green gems onto the board. There's the randomness again of not getting a green match. But the more that are out there, the more likelihood of cascades. They're full again. And we're going to finish off Jinder. So that's a look at the 3 brand new NXT characters here for the SummerSlam month-long contest on WWE Champions. Thank you to Scopely for the loan of these characters. They will not remain on my roster for long. Hopefully I'll acquire them early in the contest and be able to progress through this monthly event. Ricochet, Velveteen Dream, Alistair Black, the NXT versions. Good luck in acquiring them, and good luck in the SummerSlam contest.